Okay, so it's 2020 New Year resolution achievement time. You promised yourself you're going to read a lot of books, but there are problems. 1. You hate reading. 2. You don't find time to read. 3. Books are expensive. And finally, you don't even know what to read. So in today's video, I'm going to solve all these problems for you. So let's get going. Happy watching! Hey, this is Chetna and you're watching ChetChat. And in today's video, I'm going to review 5 books that I think you should read in 2020. Some of these books I've read in print, some on my book reader, but most of them I've read as audiobooks on Storytel. I love audiobooks because they allow me to save time and I listen while I'm on the move. In fact, audiobooks is the new way of reading, especially if you're learning English and you're daunted by this 300-page book, then listening to it will help you improve your pronunciation and grammar. And in fact, to start with, you can even pair the physical book with the audiobook and match the narration speed with your own reading speed. And now for my favorite 5 books. Book number 1 is Shoe Dog, a memoir by Phil Knight, the creator of Nike. This book has been a New York Times bestseller and has been on the recommendation list of Bill Gates as well. And some of the key takeaways from this book that I completely love are: 1. Not letting other people's vision of the future dictate you. In fact, when Phil Knight was coming up with this idea of opening a shoe company, most people thought he was completely crazy because back then running was not as popular as it is today. In fact, it was considered so weird that almost people would be throwing things at someone running down the road. The second takeaway for me from this book is that you don't need to know everything before you start in order to be successful. In fact, Knight shows us that all you need is a relentless passion to figure it out. And the third takeaway is that if you're going through hell, keep going. In fact, there were so many moments in this book when I thought that Knight was just hanging by a thread and he'll never make it. And trust me, there are so many people out there that think that your idea is weird too, which is why I think Shoe Dog is a definite read. Book number 2 is Range by David Epstein. This book is close to my heart. In fact, 2 years ago, I did a TED talk on a similar topic. You may have read that Tiger Woods picked up the golf club as a toddler, and you may even believe that some of the brightest kids know exactly what they want to pursue very early in life. But did you also know that Roger Federer dabbled in squash, skiing, skateboarding, wrestling, basketball and badminton before he narrowed down to tennis, in fact much later as an adolescent. And he credits this range of sports to his eye-hand coordination and athleticism. In fact, Epstein's research has shown that many successful people actually didn't know exactly what they wanted to pursue at the start, and they tried a bunch of different things before zeroing in on one. In fact, a statistic shows that Nobel laureates are 22 times more likely to be a musician, an actor, a poet or a singer. So if you don't know what your calling is, dabble in a bunch of different things and read Range. Now, reading can be an expensive hobby, and storytellers help that for us by giving us unlimited access for 299 rupees a month. And I like that in particular because it gives me a wide range of books in English, Hindi, Urdu, Marathi, Bengali and Malayalam. And what's more, Storytel is offering our listeners a free 30-day unlimited access trial period, and I'm going to drop a link in the description box below for you to go and check it out. Book number 3, The Winner's Brain: 8 Strategies That Great Minds Use to Achieve Success by Jeff Brown and Mark Fenske. This book takes a neuroscience perspective on the brain, and I'll share 2 very interesting studies from the book. The first conducted on cab drivers that used their own memory to find routes instead of using Google Maps, and they found that over time their hippocampus actually grew and developed in size, and the hippocampus is the part of the brain responsible for visual and spatial memory, and this shows that we can actually change our brain over time. The second study they conducted was on performing musicians, where they did a functional MRI, and when the musician was performing in flow without actually worrying about his performance or the audience, the entire brain lit up. Not the left side or the right side, but the entire brain. And that tells us a bit about being in the flow or being in the zone. This book gives us 5 power tools to help us change the landscape of our own brains. Book number 4 is the rudest book ever by Shwetabh, Gangwar. This book is a hard-hitting, straight-faced book that helps you find your own identity in the middle of all this chaos. It'll make you laugh and ponder over your own inner thoughts at the same time. I especially like the section where he talks about dealing with rejection. Shwetabh says that typically people have 1 out of 3 reactions to rejection. 1, they feel like they're a loser. 2, they feel like I'm going to do really well and prove to them that I'm better than what they thought. And C is about negativity, hate message, the world is bad, everyone's bad. And he in fact goes on to tell us how all 3 of these reactions are in fact detrimental to us. And in this book, he suggests a very cute, interesting and unique reaction that we should have to rejection. Read this book if you want to have your beliefs shaken. I heard it on a flight on offline mode at Storytel and thoroughly enjoyed it. Book number 5 is Insight by Tasha Eurich. This is a guidebook on self-awareness, who we are, how others see us, and how we fit into this world. Tasha shares years of research with us, and some startling revelations that she comes up with in this book include that selfie takers have shallower relationships than other people, and active texters do less personal reflection than most average people. In fact, one technique that she's shown us to increase our own self-awareness is to replace the why in our questions with what. Now let's take an example. Let's say you're not happy with your job. Now instead of asking the question, why do I feel so terrible? Change it to, what situations make me feel terrible and what can I do to change them? Read this book if you really want to grow as an individual. So I hope you enjoy reading these 5 books as much as I did. And by the way, I've put a list of 20 recommended books in the description box under the video, and you can go and check out all of them on the Storytel app. And meantime, put a comment under this video to tell me which one of these was your favorite book. And also please press the subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it, and give us a thumbs up if you like our work. And happy watching!